viewers, welcome to Baatcheet, a series where we bring to you some of the great career insights from our department. In this episode, I have with me Anirudh Vishwekar, who's currently pursuing PGDM in finance at the International Management Institute, New Delhi, 2019-2021 batch. He is an alumni of 2014-2018 BTech Biotechnology batch at NIT Warangal. Also, Nirud, while studying at the institute, has taken part in various corporate competitions on the national and international level and has been featured in Global Top 20 in the Project Firefly competition organized by Credit Suisse Research Institute in the year 2019. He has been semi-finalist at the Pyramidal Design Thinking competition in 2019, has also been a national finalist at VGuard Big B Plan contest organized by VGuard, obviously, in 2019, and is currently serving as Secretary of Sports Club at IMI, New Delhi for the year 2021. So, woof, that's a lot of achievements, definitely. But hello, once again, hi from my end.
Hi, Shreya.
Yeah. So, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank
Yes,
you for inviting me.
it's always our pleasure, definitely. I think when you guys agree, it just motivates us to even put more content. So I think thank you from my end, I would say. So, let's then, without any delay, let's just begin with the questions. So my first question is that how did you decide that B School is your thing? Was placement or core biotechnology ever a distraction for you?
Actually, not because because when I had joined BTech Biotechnology, I was very excited. I was very excited for the course. Me and one of my very close friends in NIT Warangal, we also attended a workshop right after the first year. So I was very excited about pursuing various opportunities in biotechnology in my first year and in my second year. But I guess it all boils down to how much you explore. So I guess second year summer was the time when I was exposed to a lot of different things through a lot of friends. So started reading up on business. I started reading up on economics, and so that kind of appealed to me more than biotechnology. But then it wasn't a very I would say a rapid decision, but it gradually happened over time. So I guess when I started my third year in college, so then is when I realized that maybe it's time to focus on what I have to pursue later in the career after I graduate from NIT Warangal. So I started drilling down more into how economics, what is economics, then finance, and then basically that's how my interest in finance grew, and then I decided that maybe I should just go for MBA first rather than getting a work ex.
I think interesting, I would say. So, I think you just spoke about having your domain figured out for MBA. Like you somehow realize that finance intrigues you. So, now my next
Right.
question is how important it is to know your domain you want to work in after MBA during the interview processes in B schools.
All right. I don't think it's of any consequence because no one during the B school interviews really expects you to know what exactly are you going to do once you become a PGDM in finance, or once you become a PGDM in marketing, because that's the whole motive of being there, that you want to learn what a manager does, what an MBA does. All right, but they do expect you to know a little bit about everything, a little bit about finance, a little bit about marketing, a little bit about operations, and all the other things that are there, because they really want to test you in terms of have you really figured it out? Do you know what you're going to do in the coming 2 years of your life? So I would say it is not important to know each and everything that you're getting into. Although if you have a background, then maybe it would be more important for you to explain that. But as I already was, I mean, had served the as the president of business school,
Mm-hmm.
business club at NIT
Yes,
Warangal.
yes.
So
Uh-huh.
so there was a follow up question always
Mm-hmm.
in my interviews that what as the B club member did you do in college? So I
Mm-hmm.
always had to have an answer that we did these things, and then I learned these things. So basis that I know that this happens in this domain. So I guess that is more important than figuring out what you want to do in college, because many of my friends in my B school, they came with a mindset of maybe doing a PGDM in finance or marketing, but then later they realized that their interests lie elsewhere. And I have seen a lot
Mm.
of my friends switching to analytics, which is a very budding domain, and many of my friends switching to marketing, which is also a very interesting domain. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think doing your homework right is, I think, always the
absolutely.
necessity. So, now
Absolutely.
again, moving to the third question for today. How good of an option MEM and MIM is to a conventional MBA degree?
All right. So, actually, the MEM and MIM degrees are not very famous in India per se, because these are offered by universities that are majorly in Europe, and there are stark differences because I think maybe 7 or 8 years ago, what MBA was meant for was it was for professionals who already had a work experience. So masters in business administration was usually pursued by someone who had a 2 or 5 year work experience. So the MIM especially was made for people who were fresh out of college but who wanted to get into the management domain. And the MEM, which is I think Masters of Science in Engineering Management. So that is meant majorly for people who are out of engineering colleges and who are looking for roles, who are looking for managerial roles in very technology heavy jobs, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe if I am not wrong, who are looking for jobs in maybe supply chain management or product management or project management.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess if you are really I mean, sure of that you want to remain in the technology domain, but you want to pursue managerial roles. So I guess one should go for MEM roles, because with the amount of startups that we have, with the amount of the community that we have, the startup community. I guess many of software roles, they have to have these kind of capabilities to sort of become a product manager, and product manager is really becoming a very sought after profile in many of the startups. So that is all about, I think, MEM. And about MIM, so it's a course which is curated for freshers. And MBA and PGDM, they'll be more inclined towards a practical perspective of what you learn in the schools. But in MIM, one should really expect to have like more of a theoretical perspective, because it's curated for the freshers. So it is more to tell them what kind of things that happen in the corporates and things like that. So I mean, I might not be 100% sure of what it is, because I've not been through it, and this is based on my limited
Yeah.
interactions with people that I know who have pursued that. So I think MIM is that, and MIM can be found in European countries.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, of course, the job prospects and all are good for, I mean, all the three types of management courses.
Oh, okay, interesting. So, okay, now the next question is how effectively to study for CAT, GRE, or GMAT during, college years or for someone who's working?
All right. So this it's kind of a very important question, and very interesting question, because now that I look back at my journey of preparation and going through all the stuff, so it's more about, it's about aptitude, all right. And for, I think, most of the viewers of this video on the social media, I mean, you guys are all, you guys have all been through mathematics of the 12th class and all that stuff. And
Mhm.
it's just about logically connecting the dots everywhere, be it CAT, be it GMAT, or be it any other aptitude exam. So it really boils down to how much you have practiced during your preparation. And also a major factor is that how do you perform on the D-Day, because that's very important. No matter how much effort have you put into preparation, but it's very important that you really perform on the D-Day. So I guess for students who are out there, I mean, just keep doing, dedicate a small slot, from your daytime, or from whatever, for how much ever time you study, and just try to accomplish a little bit every day, and a little bit every day adds up to a substantial amount in the long run. For students it's kind of very easy, but for
Mhm.
working professionals, I think what I'd suggest is that, because I've been through that, so what I'd suggest is that, keep doing something. I mean, some problems, a few maybe caselets, a few passages, sometime in the morning and then sometime in the evening, because it's really important for you to be in the state of mind, keep your mind working, so that it does not decelerate, and probably just keep doing so the same thing, that keep doing something every day would add to a substantial amount in the long.
True, true. I think consistency is the definite, the
Yeah,
right way to
and
go
I
about.
think, right, and I think it's not about how many or how much difficult problems you solve, but it's only about how consistently are you solving, and how consistently are you doing. So I think, yeah, that.
True, true. So now, what was your preparation strategy in terms of sources, the classes you took, or certain pages that you were hooked onto for regular updates, on B schools and everything?
All right. So, before attempting the exam, I had done a thorough analysis of, how the exam pattern is going to be, how the previous question papers have been. And, I had talked to a lot of people, majorly my seniors, my super seniors, of, how they prepared, and how they went about it. So, uh, I think what one should do is, like, they should know what their strengths and what their weaknesses are, and concentrate on working to working towards maybe making their strengths stronger, and focusing a little more on on the part that they are weaker in. And I guess, yeah, that's about it. And as I said, it's not about how many problems you solve, but it's about, as many problems you solve, you need to understand that what is the mistake that you are doing, and it's all about rectifying those mistakes. And I think
Mhm.
that would help much more than just keeping on doing problems. And in my case, what I did was that, I had a little idea of, I mean, I had purchased a few books to, start studying, but they really did not help that much, because, there are many books in the market, and, many are not representative of what exactly is there in the exams. So I guess it's very important to, get a good, maybe a good tutor or a good mentor, who will tell you which books are very important. And I guess there are a lot of institutes which provide the course material, so I guess that is very important. One should really buy that and start practicing from that. So that is there. And if anyone is planning to give it in the immediate short term, as in after 6 or 7 months, then one should really start giving the mock exams. I mean, start giving the mock exams as soon as possible, because that really helps a lot in terms of maybe gauging how much time you're taking in what problem in what section, and that is very important.
Okay, great. Another question that I have for you is how, is a degree in BTech Biotech and then MBA later sufficient for a successful managerial career in a biotech giant than a degree in MS and subsequently doing an MBA later?
All right. So I'll answer this question in two parts. It's a really great question, and I'd really want to connect it to one of the sessions that I had attended in the bio network conclave
Okay.
that was held.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really important for one to figure out in what domain he
Mhm.
or she has to work. After getting a management degree. So if one is a BTech biotech and then getting an MBA, so I mean, it would be great, to work for consulting companies and work with them in the health sciences and wellness departments. For example, I mean, I have done my internship with a big four consultant company, and because of my background in biotech, I was assigned the team that works with those kind of companies. So
Mm-hmm.
having that kind of background really helps, because when you analyze the business environments, when you analyze companies, so you need to understand what sort of products they have, and so that knowledge really comes into play. But if you have a BTech biotech and then you get an MBA, so you can essentially work in any domain, not necessarily biotech. I mean, you can work in finance, you can work in project management, product management, anything. But when it comes to having a master's in biotech and then getting an MBA, so then it really depends on what kind of a role are you pursuing. Because if you have a master's in biotech, and if you have an MBA, so that is a really great combination for something in the senior management at the R&D level or
Mm-hmm.
at the product management level. So having a higher degree in biotech plus an MBA would be a great fit for for technical roles
Mm-hmm.
in pharmaceutical companies. So it really depends on what kind of roles are you looking for.
Hmm. True, true. So now, another question that I have is, in your case, you did not have work experience. You went from studying at Warangal then to your B school. So, in your case, how should an ideal profile or an ideal resume should look like for a B school aspirant? Because many of us think that work experience often helps us earn those brownie points. So, yeah.
Sure. But again, there is this conception that work experience really helps, which it does. It gives you those, maybe the weighted average in most of the B schools. You will get like a table, there will be criteria and there will be weights assigned to it, and then they'll evaluate a score. So work experience does have a weight, and it is different
Mm-hmm.
for different colleges. But as I said, most of the engineering graduates, they either work in software firms or something related to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that B schools really like that, because there
Mm.
is a huge population from those, that technology sector,
Mm.
that goes into these business schools. And that's mostly because they are all bored of their jobs, and they're not really motivated to get a management degree.
Mm.
So what I'd say is that if you really want to get into a good business school right after the college,
Mm-hmm.
it's really important to have a good CGPA. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we can all debate on CGPA uh, is not what your knowledge is and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But on paper, you really need to have a good CGPA. That really helps. And I mean, you'll have to go to your past. I mean, we cannot really do anything to change it, but again, 10th and 12th scores are really important, and if you have like an above 90 in both of them,
Mm-hmm.
then I guess it's a 6, and then it's
Mm.
very easy for you to get shortlisted. But then also, apart from these, I mean, you really have to have the zeal to and you really have to know what you're getting into, because first thing is this is getting screened, and the
Mm-hmm.
other thing is clearing the interview. And in the interview, there are a lot of questions that deal with the current macro environment, the current macroeconomic environment, the current political environment, and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Because I guess the managers all, they want to look intellectual, so
Mm.
they debate on all this stuff. So they really need you to have an opinion,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what a B school is all about. You'll be exposed to 1,000 teams, literally 1,000 teams, 1,000 groups, in which you'll have to do countless case studies and put your opinion forward. And
Mm-hmm.
they really want people who can prove to what their institution stands for. I mean,
True.
if it's a graduate from, say, the top business school in
Mm-hmm.
India, so they'll want the best candidate that they can get, so that the
Mm-hmm.
candidate represents the institute at various companies that he or she works for. So that's that. And I guess so, to summarize, a good CGPA, a good 10th 12th scores, and if you have experience, then if you're trying to get an experience, then get some relevant work experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, yeah, that's it. And if you can really try to get an internship which is
Mm-hmm.
related to a management field, then that would
Mm-hmm.
be great, because you get talking points. So yeah.
Very interesting. I think very insightful. So we are nearing the end, and the last question for today is: what has been your biggest learning from the journey at NIT Warangal to your current college, that is IMI Delhi?
My biggest learning would absolutely be that, one should just keep exploring. I mean, that was the crux of my journey at NIT Warangal.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's very important to keep doing things, because that's how you learn, that's how you grow. When I look back in 2014, when I joined NIT Warangal, I was a very different being. I was very introvert, and I mean, I didn't really know what I was capable of. But then the amount of people I met through various forums, such as tab, such as music club, such as business club,
Mm-hmm.
and the amount of learning that happens, when you interact in a peer group, when you do a lot of different things. So that is really great. And I would just say to people who are right now in college that, it is the time of your life, when you have a lot of independence, when you literally do not have a lot of stuff on your hand. So just get out there, explore, do as many things as you can, meet as many people as you can, and I guess really find what your purpose is. Because I remember I even had said this while I was in campus to
Mm-hmm.
my junior batch, that you really need to do things so that you understand what you have to do in life, and then maybe work towards it. So I guess that's the biggest takeaway. And another takeaway would be that make very good friends in college, because that's very important. Because these are the like 4 years, and it's very rare that you will be at any institution for this long after that, because MBA will be 2 years, and MBA is so hectic that you don't even realize when the 2 years pass by. And then it's corporate, and
Yeah.
corporate is all about work.
Mm.
So in NIT Warangal, I guess you will be getting the best friends that you'll ever get in your life, and they'll be there for you whenever you need them to be. And trust me, you need friends at various points in
Mhm.
life. So I guess these two will be the major takeaways from my journey at NIT Warangal.
Wonderful. I think that this summarizes a great interview for today. So, do the
Thank
honors,
you.
just tell our viewers to like, share, and subscribe. Yes. Oh,
All right, guys. So a lot of effort goes into
yeah.
making such things possible, and Tab has done wonderfully well in organizing things like these. These are very helpful, and you never know. In the background, there are people working
Yes.
from different parts of the world, literally in different time
True,
zones.
true.
So please acknowledge their efforts. Please acknowledge the amount of efforts that are being taken for you. So please like and
Yes.
subscribe
Yes.
the channel, and
Yes.
please share this video.
Yes. Okay, so thank you. Thank you once more for joining us. See you next episode. Bye.
Thank you.